These are going
They're going in the entrance.
They've got like little hoops that can spin round the ground, but we unfortunately got one.
They don't have streamers in there. I must have got a lucky.
Why have they got to be green? They really taste nasty.
Why can't I try these on?
I do think single-sex schools can suffer from the idea that they should be like schools in the 50s. The behaviour of the young women should reflect ideas of young ladies. And what we're doing here is presenting a modern version of single-sex education. It's going to look different. The behaviour of girls is going to be different.
Ooh, we're going to get our party started. I want to do this as well. I don't got one, you know. Do I not just look pretty? Like, I mean, do I not just look pretty? I look gorgeous, don't I? I mean, seriously. Took me half an hour to get all of this done. Do you know what I mean? Look at me, look at me. Woo! All this chocolatey goodness.
We've all got the same skirts.
With Miss Higgins has come to speak to us first of all, and then we've got some awards and some other things to do in Assembly. Thank you, Miss Higgins.
OK, thank you, Miss McGuinness. Really warm welcome back, girls. We hope you had a really well-deserved 2-week break and that you've come back full of energy. I started my teacher training in 1981 and girls were very much on the margins, and we worked a lot to develop an ethos where girls were encouraged to think that they could do anything and that they were going to go out and shape the world.
One of the main things that we do at school is we make friends who can last us for the rest of our lives. And then
it is my personal conviction that the majority of girls will succeed to a greater extent in a single-sex setting because they're not regularly worrying about conducting social relationships in a classroom with boys.
So there'll be 4 of each shapes and they'll all be overlapping and you'll have to really think about how you're going to do it. You can use a ruler to measure how long that is. And then measure I have an idea.
I've worked in 2 girls' schools and 1 mixed school, and in the mixed school that I worked in, the girls had to fight to get help in lessons, they had to fight to be able to contribute to lessons, and in every classroom that you walked into, they would be sat round the edge, the boys would dominate the space. And that just doesn't happen at a girls' school.
Because it's...
Right, you're right to measure. You need to go, when you measure, you need to be really careful that the line you're measuring is at right angles to the mirror, though. Because maths has got this image, certainly amongst people my age, that it's not a girl's subject. And when I studied maths at school, I was the only girl in my class. I'm not so sure that girls that we teach now in this school have that same image of maths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, well done, that's perfect so far. They might not like maths, but I don't feel that they think it's because they're a girl they can't do it.
When I started in education, girls only achieved better than boys in English, domestic science and French. And through the 25 years that I've worked in schools, we've seen a transformation of that situation.
Minus a half is a root.
Oh yeah.
Yeah? So then you do f of minus a half into that, and then it gives you the remainder.
All right. Thank you.
The girls that we have from this school, when they go into A-level groups, which are mixed, they seem to us that they hold their own really well. And I think it's partly because they haven't been with boys in the 11 to 16 phase, that they have that confidence when they come to the sixth form.
Don't drop. Maths is life. My life. It hurts me in my heart when people say that they're going to drop maths. It actually hurts.
How are you on this?
I finished a little while ago. Sorry.
I wasn't racing you.
Yeah,
I would have beat you if my races.
Yeah, with Louis' help.
Our expectations around girls and young women, it's miraculous really in the space of 20 years how they've been transformed, how they've been raised.
You've made some really interesting comments about what things already happen in school or how you feel about equality within the school already. But you've also made some really, really good suggestions, and I hope that I've managed to capture all of them. And if I've missed anything out, I'm sure you will tell me.
The biggest sort of equality issue in the school would probably be the homophobia. We do lots of things about race equality and gender equality and what we are as women going into the world work, but I just think that there should be more done about it because I just really don't think it's been touched on.
We are all more enlightened, one would hope, in terms of our expectations of girls and young women than we were 20 years ago. I mean, there have been social and cultural changes.
Because we are a girls' school, you might be able to say, yeah, there are no actual gender problems because we have no boys to have conflicts with. But there are problems about gender.
Could you give an example of the kind of thing you mean by that? I see that you've written not all girly girly. What do you mean by girly girly?
Sort of perfect, made up.
So there's a big idea there about being perhaps judged because you don't look a certain way or because you do, or, you know, if you're in year 7 and your favourite colour isn't pink.
When I came to this school, like, they were all already acting grown up in terms of making sure that their hair's straightened and making sure that they've always got mascara on or that is touched up every 2 lessons, things like that.
I mean, I don't wear any makeup, but I mean, it's terrible. It's like, oh no, she's wearing so much and just look at me here all puny sitting and, you know, I don't know. I think it's quite bothersome and people shouldn't care so much about it.
This is just in the form of a quiet warm-up, right? So be yourselves now. And we'll go towards just possibly the beginnings of starting to tell a story. So just think about a subtle change in what you're doing, change in your posture, change in your behaviour. Just sort of tells us something isn't quite right.
We do have groups of students who come from one of the wards that has the highest incidence nationally of domestic violence in the country.
I haven't seen you in ages. What's been going on?
Nothing much, no.
Well, you really need to... Can I come round sometime? I mean,
no.
Why not?
Maybe some other time.
What's this? Why is there a bruise on your arm? You have to tell me about these things. You can come over to mine any time.
Can I stay the night?
As a school, I would argue that we'd be neglecting our obligations and our duties if we weren't exploring some of those issues within the school.
Babes, what's going on, babes? I mean, like the other day, babes, I saw you on the road and I was like, babes, and you just kept on walking, babes. What's going on?
You know what?
And babes, look at your arm. I mean, this
my God.
What the hell are these bruises about, babes?
Do you know what it is?
Babes, what's going on?
No, listen to me.
Babes.
I'm a failure and
No,
I hit
you're
myself.
not.
I hit myself.
No, you don't,
I
babes.
do it. I swear to God.
Babes.
Look, watch.
No,
See?
babes, don't
Just
do
leave
it.
it. No,
babes,
please.
no. I'm going to give
Listen
Fred a ring. How can he let you do this to yourself?
Right? You're meant to be my friend. I'm going to hit myself.
No,
You just said that.
babes, I'm sorry,
Do you know what?
babes.
Just leave me.
You need help, you do. I'm not qualified to give you it, but you need help. I'm going to give Cliff a ring.
Call them vet people.
Babes.
Sammy, I don't... Just leave me.
Same, I have a lot of friends who like get hit and stuff by their boyfriends and stuff, but they just think it's like a joke, even if their boyfriends are angry with them and they kick them and they hit them, but they just do it back and they're like, oh, it's just us fighting, and it's like they don't really see the serious side of things, and then when their boyfriends actually hit them in a serious way, they're just like, oh, he just hit me, and they don't see it as a big deal at all.
We need to do something to empower those young women to interrupt that situation so that what happens in 10 years' time is a different picture from what's going on currently. There is a real sense that it's all been done and dusted for girls. Girls are doing well, they're doing better than boys. Boys are the problem, and that is really masking the fact that Not all girls are doing well. Middle-class girls are doing well, and girls from families who have high aspirations are doing well, but there are still girls who need attention, they need support, they need creative education in order to help them fulfil their potential.
Right, girls, these two used to be in my year group, and I think if you'd have asked them in year 8 and 9 if they could see themselves in the sixth form, they would most probably have said no way, but they did, and they're both going to tell you why they decided that it'd be a good idea to stay on in school.
In lessons, to begin with, you start being good because you want to make a good impression on the teachers, but after a while it sort of dies down and you just want to have fun with your friends.
Why was you naughty and mucked around in your class?
It's just because when you're making new friends, you want to have fun, you're joking around, just laughing.
You show off because if you don't, you get called a boffin or a stiff or something like that, so you show off, you do it, so your friends don't judge you, really.
What was the naughtiest thing you've ever done?
I made a teacher just give up on our class and walk out of our lesson. That was probably the worst, but I don't know, I wasn't really that naughty, I just mucked around a lot.
If I couldn't do something, I wouldn't do it. If I couldn't do it the first time, I wouldn't do it again, and then I used to take it out on the teacher because I couldn't do it. I hated being helped, so I never used to let her help me.
When did you actually start taking school seriously? What year?
In year 9, they changed our maths class, so I was put into the top, like they changed your sets in year 9. So I was put in the top set for year 9, so none of my friends that mucked around were in it. So I was sort of, in that lesson, I was sort of forced to concentrate.
The opening day really helped me for sixth form because I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and I was like, I'm not coming because I was like, there's nothing I want to do. And then I was speaking to one of the teachers and they said, you're really good at creative things. They was like, you should do childcare. And I do like kids, so then I started taking a course. I'm really glad I took it.
What were you planning on doing? You just
like, I don't know, just leaving, getting a job, just like not getting a higher education. I'm glad I didn't.
Amongst some of our families, there is still a really endemic culture of low aspirations for girls, and there is an established pattern through families of early parenthood. There are still gender-related issues that need to be challenged, explored. You know, there is still a job of work to do.
Oh gosh, it's terribly disappointed. Really? So we're talking about section 4, which is the section on raising aspirations and extending opportunities. We've got that into our school development plan really because we recognise that just having a raising achievement strategy isn't enough on its own, especially amongst some groups of girls in particular. So I suppose we would have identified in particular the white low-income girls, but you know, we know that there are others as well.
I mean, there's an enormous range of careers and career opportunities that we can really be promoting with those girls, but we don't want to leave it to chance anymore. We want to have a pledge, a coherent programme where we say we're going to work with you systematically from year 7, not waiting till year 9 to introduce the idea of university. So it's a brilliant time, and I'm hoping it's going to kick off another of these cycles of rapid transformation.